Audrey Hepburn said, "For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness." I never thought a book tag would make me this emotional, but it did. Hello everybody, I'm Marilyn Maya. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Well, I'm doing a tag today, and I have to really thank the creator of this tag, Katlin Bandy of bandysbooks. This is a beautiful tag, and it made me find a book that I never would have found before, and also made me think of all the wonderful things about this community. So let's start. Number 1, how do you practice kindness in your day-to-day life? That's quite an interesting topic because I don't go out very much. I suffer from chronic pain. But when I do go out, I try to treat people the way that I want to be treated on my most painful day. And today is a painful day because it's raining in Hawaii and I have severe arthritis. So I tend to feel it really strongly when it rains. And I also cut my finger due to my arthritis. I can't feel things sometimes, and when I opened up a can, it just sliced my hand. So I'm emotional anyway today. But I try to practice kindness because to me, kindness is everything. It's so important, and we don't have enough of it in our world right now, for sure. Number 2, what is the kindest thing that happened to you on BookTube? Well, there's so many kind things that happen to me on BookTube. But when I first started out, sometimes you feel like you're shouting into a void. You're talking and no one is listening, and that's never pleasant. And Claudia of Spinster's Library, a big booktuber, reached out to me and asked, because I had said I was starting on my 70th birthday, and she wanted to interview me and ask me what it's like to be a booktuber at 70. And that was so kind of her. Not to mention I garnered a lot of subs from that interview I gave, and I was nervous, and she made me feel so comfortable. She's a wonderful person and a wonderful booktuber, so check her out. Number 3, now I have a lot of papers here, so bear with me. Number 3 is, who, in your opinion, is one of the kindest booktubers out there? Oh, there's so many. There's so many. I want to talk first about Kelly of Books I'm Not Reading. I was tagged by 2 booktubers, and Kelly was one of them. And Angelia of Read and Reread is the other one. And both are wonderful booktubers. But I know Kelly longer, and I tend to write long comments on people's on people's videos, on booktubers' videos. And she created a little emoji, a flower emoji. So whenever I comment on her videos, which I love her videos, there's that flower emoji, and that's really beautiful. Lindy, I just met about a year ago, and she's become not only one of the booktubers that I watch all the time, but a great friend. Very honored to say she's my friend. And she's kind, she's inclusive, she's kind to everyone. Her BookTube channel is so full of diversity in every sense of the word, and she introduced me to Canadian Indigenous literature, as well as graphic novels, and so much more. And she knits, not that I knit, I'm not good in that area. She bakes, she cooks, she gardens. She's just a dynamo. So I love Lindy. So that's the two people that I'll talk about, but there's so many more. And that's what keeps me on BookTube, because of the kindness of so many of these booktubers that I'm going to talk about. The number 4, is it already 4? What is a book that reminded you to be more kind? You know, I looked through my library, and beside the self-helpish kind of books to make you be kind to yourself, of course, there's a lot of fiction books I can mention, and I will mention. This one was The Last 7 Months of Anne Frank, the stories of 6 women who knew Anne Frank. And I guess this can show you how to be kind, in a sense, though it's more about unkindness in a way. How Green Was My Valley by, did I say who the person was? This was Willie Lindauer wrote this book. How Green Was My Valley by Richard Llewellyn was a favorite book, full of kind people and some unkind people, but more kind people, treating each other with kindness, and just the whole book is full of sort of like Welsh poetry, they say. And I just loved it. It was a 5-star read for me, and I buddy read this. I think I buddy read this with Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot. But if I'm wrong, please let me know, Sandy. The next book, of course, is one of my favorite books of all times, which is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. And it has themes of hope. And there's kindness in it, but it makes you feel kind. It makes you feel happy. So I don't know if that's the same thing. And a book that's on my shelf that I haven't read yet is One Good Dog. And it's about a man and a dog. Chance was born in an inner city cellar, a mix of pit bull and God knows what. Bred to fight and damn good at it, he lived in a dank, dark, and vicious world. Not that he wished for anything better. The world was all he knew. When the moment presented itself, Chance made the most of it in a new life on the street for a little while. So then he meets Adam, and Chance fill the holes of each other's lives. Adam gave Chance his first real home, a home he never could have imagined. Well, I don't like, do dogs imagine? I don't know. Well, Chance gave Adam a new start. So I think I forgot to mention that Adam March had no room in his life for anything but the cold drive to succeed. Naturally, things didn't work his way, and he ends up alone, unemployed, and reduced to bussing tables in a homeless shelter, serving men he'd gone out of his way to avoid. I'm glad that I looked on my shelf for this, because I want to read this now. But there's another book coming that made me emotional. So can you think of a fiction book of any genre that focuses on themes of kindness? Now, here is where I went on sort of a deep dive into BookTube to not only find out about the booktubers that I wanted to mention in this shout out video, but also to find books that other booktubers who did this video, this tag video, mentioned. And boy, did I find some good ones. So I just finished reading this book last night. So I guess I could mention it. I want to mention it because it's one of the most unusual books that I think I've ever read. And the name of it is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. And I'll try to have a picture on the side of it. Wow. That's all I can say about this is wow. What is it about? On the surface, it's about a boy who decides to investigate the murder of a dog. I think his name was Winston. He found this dog with a fork, a large fork, deep inside of him, and he's dead. And he wants to find out who committed this murder. He's autistic. So this book is so full of trying to understand people who are different than us, and instead of disregarding them, trying to understand them and meeting them on their own level. So on the surface, it's about his investigation, but he ends up on a big adventure and finds out more than he thought that he would find out. And the things in this book, it must have been written by a mathematician and somebody who's a scientist and somebody who might know somebody who has autism or close to them or is autistic themselves, because I found out so many things about being autistic and how I can relate to some of those things having an anxiety disorder, and it made me very emotional. There's a part in this book that has to deal, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, that has to deal with a train station, and where in a train station, there's a lot of sounds and lights and people that can make a lot of people stressed out. And I've had 2 incidents in train stations where I had panic attacks. One recently in my last trip to Holland, and the other one was in England, so I don't know. We don't have train stations in Hawaii. And a person came up to me when I was in England, going to a place called Hull in the north of England from London. And I was so disoriented and panicky. I sat down on a bench, and she came next to me, a stranger, and sat down to me and said, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" This is true kindness. And going back to this book, it gave me all the feels, as they say. And I am so glad. I think it's going to be on one of my best of lists of the year. So if you've read it, let me know what you thought of this book. It's written in first person in the boy's mind. It has illustrations. It's just wonderful. And I can't believe I haven't read it. And I read it because of this tag. So thank you, Katlin, for making this tag. So the next on the list is 6. How do you think you could make BookTube a kinder place, both individually and as a community? BookTube is a wonderful community. This sounds sad, but it's really the only community beside my family and my best friend that I belong to. Like I said, I don't go out that often, and when I go out, it's usually to my physical therapist, shopping, or occasionally I see my best friend, but we live very far away. So belonging to this community is everything to me. It's everything. And even though it's hard to make videos as I get older, and I will not voluntarily leave this community unless I'm pushed out. But how can I make it kinder? I think that I try to make it kinder by watching a lot of videos. That's one thing I'm able to do, while some other booktubers might not be able to watch as many videos as I can because I'm retired. So I watch a lot of videos, as many as I can, of people, of course, that I like and that I have something in common with. Of course, kind people, because why would I make a comment on an unkind person's video? And I try to do that on a regular basis. Sometimes I'm not as good as I want to be. And I, of course, try to be kind to people when I make those comments, because, what's the use of doing that? Of not doing, being kind when you're, I'm not snarky. And in real life, I'm snarky. I come from Brooklyn. But on BookTube, people are so open, to me anyway, and kind, that it's easy for me. Because when you have a chronic illness, it's easy to feel grumpy. And sometimes I'm grumpy in front of my family. But somehow when I'm on BookTube, the pain goes away and I'm not grumpy. I'm trying not to be grumpy to my family, though. So I think we could all make BookTube a better place by shouting out small videos like people that I'm going to mention here too. And I just wanted to mention Kim at Middle of the Book March is also a very kind person and booktuber, and she was very kind to me, and we did something together that was very important to me, which was Mental Health May this past May. But I think that helping people in general on BookTube in any way you can, if it's a kind word here and there, if it's a shout out, and always to be respectful of other people's boundaries, which sometimes I can be a little bit obnoxious and try to push my way in and say, hey, but people have been very kind so far. So I find that BookTube is a very respectful community compared to some other communities on YouTube that I see that aren't as respectful, but we can always make it more respectful. Okay, so number 7, say some kind words about one of your favorite BookTube channels. This is so difficult. I just mentioned Kim Becker of Middle of the Book March, who got me into reading books that we don't always have the same taste in books. Sometimes we have opposite tastes in books, but she got me turned on to Middlemarch, and just for that, I'm grateful for that recommendation. And I just love her videos because they're fun and they're funny. But I want to mention another booktuber who I have more in common with the way she reads, and her name is Sarah from Hardcover Hearts. I'm going to have all of these people below in the description box. What can I say about Sarah? She loves travel like I do. She loves Europe. She loves Paris. She loves England. She loves Italy. And her taste she loves translated fiction. And I wasn't into translated fiction until I met some booktubers like Lindy, who introduced me to Indigenous Canadian literature, and Sarah of Hardcover Hearts again, who introduced me to Anita Bruckner, who made me grow as a reader. I always loved literary fiction, and she also loves mysteries, so that's just like double the fun. She's also so smart, and she, like I said, helps me grow as a reader and try things that I thought I wouldn't like. So a shout out there to Sarah of Hardcover Hearts. The next one is share a new or small booktube channel. Now, this is a friend of mine. We buddy read. She was a subscriber of mine. We buddy read Frankenstein, a book that I never thought I would like. She brought it to life for me. I hope I did the same for her. Her name is Sarah Wallace. And I encouraged her to start her own book channel because she's so enthusiastic, smart. And her channel, she started it, is Sarah Wallace at Roadworthy. And she travels around in a camper van life. I don't know what they call it anymore. We used to call it Winnebago years ago. But please check out her channel because she shows you beautiful places that she's visiting, and she talks very intelligently about different genres of books that I think you'll enjoy. All right, so I want to talk about a little bit about some of the books I discovered. And this is not even in I made this one up. So as I said, while I was getting involved and saying, well, I kind of read snarky books and I read books about unhappy people getting happier, but I don't really read that many kind books. I want to read more. So I have a few titles for you. This was mentioned in people who did this video. So one is 365 Thank Yous. The Year A Simple Act of Daily Gratitude Changed My Life by John Kralik, and A Simple Act of Gratitude by the same author. I haven't read these two books by this author, but it was recommended by a booktuber who did this video. Another one that was mentioned is The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. And what is it about? It says, Monsieur Perdue calls himself a literary apothecary. From his floating bookstore in a barge on the Seine, he prescribes novels for the hardships of life, using his intuitive feel for the exact book a reader needs. Perdue mends broken hearts and souls. It's funny because Perdue means lost. So I think that's interesting. The only person he can't seem to heal through literature is himself. He's still haunted by heartbreak after his great love disappeared. I'm not sure that this is a 100% book for me, but I'm willing, it's in Paris, and I'm willing to check this out. But someone else mentioned Rescue in Denmark by Harold Flender. So I'm just going to say it really fast. German troops enter Denmark, a country of 4.5 million persons. I think it was Jewish persons, on April 9th, 1940. And 3 years passed before the purge against Danish Jews was begun. On the night of October 1st, 1943, the Nazi boot kicked open doors in rooms largely emptied. And I heard that this was a very well-researched book and how the Danish people saved their Jews. And I'm looking forward. It's not a very well-known incident during the war, so I want to read about it, and I'm grateful for the person who recommended it. Now, the last one was Name Some Friends. So here goes, and I'm not going to just say they're in the description box. I believe in saying people's names. And I think a name is very important. So I'm going to say the name and have it down in the description box. And some of them I've already said, like Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. Katja, Page Turners with Katja. Love her. Kathy Grimm from The Grim Reader, who also suffers from some chronic pain and has a wonderful booktube channel with vlogs, and she does some kind of notebook writing that I can't remember right now, but I'm going to look it up. Of course, my good friend Jack from Spread Book Joy, who also, like Lindy, which I forgot to say, talks about young adult and children's books. And she's a wonderful British booktuber who's become a very good friend of mine. Sandy, of course, misreads a lot. She's doing the 1001 books I must read before I die. I don't think I'll get to 1,000, but she's given me a lot of suggestions as well as being a wonderful buddy reader. Genius Stanya Books. What can I say? Gina. She nicknamed me MMM for all my long comments that I've given her. And she loves cozy books, and I love cozy books. So she's just a wonderful booktuber. Priscilla, a new booktuber for me, evening reader. I say she stole my name because that was I'm night reader. Sonia, at an enthusiastic reader, wonderful person, wonderful booktuber, very smart, very kind. So this that does fit the mark for that. MJ at Reading This Life. We read different kinds of books, but she's really part of the community and shouts out small booktubers and really makes this community a wonderful place. So hello, MJ. Daniel at Guilty Feet, who's in Israel right now, and my prayers go out to my fellow brothers and sisters in Israel. Yes, my heart is broken for both the Jews who were brutally murdered and kidnapped by depraved people, but also for the Palestinians who are suffering and are being killed as well. So my heart goes out to my countrymen and also my cousins, as we call, because Arabs are our cousins. Daniel, I said Daniel at Guilty Feet. Brian at Bookish. Brian, he's a wonderful person. Kind. We don't read all the same books, but he likes mysteries, and we did a buddy read for a mystery. Sean the Book Maniac. What can I say about Sean? He introduced me to Lindy. So, and he's also had me on his channel, which helped my booktube grow a little bit. There's so many others, and as I was talking, I was remembering people. How could I say Freddie had what is his name? It'll come to me. Freddie at Sluggish Reader. There he is. Wonderful person, wonderful booktuber, smart. He's from Indonesia, and my daughter is in Singapore right now. So on a vacation, so that was a long trip. So we did a buddy read together, and he always brings out things that I haven't thought of. Please check out his channel. He deserves so many more subscribers than he has. Did I say Margaret Pinard is also a writer, like I am, as well as a booktuber, and she does lives. I don't know how she does it. I can't even keep up with a live or do a live, and I always miss her lives because of the time difference. But she's a wonderful person, very kind, and always comments, leaves lovely comments. Wow, was this long enough? I'm emotional, so please excuse me for going on and on. I know my partner is going to have to edit some of this out. Thank you so much again to the creator of this wonderful kindness tag. We all need kindness in our lives, and to give kindness it's just a wonderful thing for you, because you get back so much more kindness when you give kindness. So please subscribe to my channel. It does make us feel better when you push the like button, because we feel seen, and everybody wants to feel seen and acknowledged. That's one of the main things that people need in life, is to be acknowledged and seen. So until I see you again, I wish you love, kindness, gratitude, and as always, aloha.